quarter of this year, Press Corp posted a profit of 58 billion naira. And this is just a microcosm of the larger Nigerian economy. So opportunities abound. It might interest you to know, ladies and gentlemen, our foreign reserves is now hovering in the neighborhood of $42 billion. We have crossed the Rubicon, and we are on a path to sustain growth and stability.
When they all come together, we had a fantastic event this year. We also have the data mapping portal. And there are programs for you, for example, the diaspora mortgage, where you can get 50 million naira mortgage to own your own homes. And we've created a portal where you don't need to be duped to own your own home. So many things for the diaspora under this administration.
He urged the Nigerian community, not just in the United States, but across the world, to be proud of their heritage, noting that the nation's positive development indices in all spheres of the Nigerian is a reflection of well-thought-out policies of the Tinubu administration. From New York, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
In another development, the federal government has secured enhanced funding commitment from the African Development Bank to operationalize the second phase of the special agro-industrial processing zones. The Vice President, Kashim Shettima, made the request in New York during a bilateral meeting with AFDB's president on the sidelines of the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly. Here is State House correspondent again, Abdurrahman Jabrila.
The Special Agro-Processing Zone Phase 2 expected to scale up climate-resilient infrastructure and inclusive agro-industrial growth across an additional 24 states, expanding from initial 8 states and the FCT, aimed at diversifying Nigeria's mono-product economy to value-added agricultural exports.
The bank's support for innovation-driven enterprises.
Justifying the country's request, Vice President Kashim Shettima said Nigeria is the largest shareholder in Africa Development Bank, and its portfolio hovers in the neighborhood of $10 billion.
Our dream is to make tomorrow much better than today for our youth. We have no business being in business. The government has no business being in business. Our duty is to create the enabling environment, the infrastructure. The duty of the private sector is to provide the capital, the innovations, and the market linkages. And our youth, who constitute the bulk of our population. It might interest you, Your Excellency, to know that the average age of the Nigerian nation is 16.9. And by 2050, we'll surpass the United States, will be the third most populous nation on earth. So that goes to show the potentials of the Nigerian nation and the need for us to really act very fast.
We need to work with, I am planning to have a series of consultation with banks and the DFIs and guarantee funds to make sure that we will work as a coherent system of financial institution contributing together to delivering on the mandate of African development.
AFDB's president assured that under his leadership, the bank will spare no effort to provide Nigeria with the support it deserves in terms of developing its human capital. Earlier, Vice President Kashim Shettima held a bilateral meeting with the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. Terence Drew, where they recommitted to strengthening economic and cultural ties.
Going forward, we should have a robust engagement and understanding. We should stand by each other, we should stand for one another, we should stand on each other's interests.
We think that this kind of communication and easy access to both countries can actually help significantly with the movement of people, which we already have, and can help to further trade between the countries.
He further recalled that President Tinubu was in St. Lucia earlier in the year as part of his broader package of reaching out to Caribbean Africans in the diaspora. The Prime Minister decried the low level of trade and contact between Caribbean countries and Africa, expressed the country's readiness to work closely with Nigeria to boost trade on the African continent. From New York, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
In other news, there is a rising global concern about how tons of food are wasted daily, while millions of people go to bed hungry. Most of the wasted food occur during harvest and leftovers from meals. Now, this informed the rationale behind behind September 29, which is set aside every year by the United Nations to raise awareness about food management and preservation. Musa Baba Aliyu will tell us more.
The leftovers are thrown into the garbage.
People fetch food because they feel very hungry, that they cannot finish. Yeah. So at the end of the day, they end up not finishing it. And instead of them to keep it in the fridge and save it for later, they will just keep it anyhow they want to keep it, and at the end of the day to go to waste.
Records show that approximately 1.05 billion tons of food are wasted annually around the world, which is enough to feed millions of hungry people. Apart from food, tons of agricultural produce, including fruits like oranges, watermelons, tomatoes, and mangoes, end up in a refuse dumps like this one. For example, this truck transported over 500 bags of oranges from Benue State to Zuba in Abuja, covering a distance of 280 kilometers. Upon uploading, 70% of the oranges were found to be spoiled or rotten. What you see here are scavengers carefully selecting the oranges they believe are still edible. Abubakar and Umar shared that just last week, over 250 bags of fruits were lost in the market due to spoilage.
Every year, Nigeria loses an estimated $10 billion in post-harvest losses due to poor storage, weak infrastructure, and limited processing. Beyond this, farmers confront the growing threats of climate change, droughts, floods, soil degradation, regular pest infestation, and erratic rainfall.
Agricultural experts believe that reducing food waste decreases costs and builds more resilient food systems. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
And still on foods we consume, the National Biotechnology Research and Development Agency has reaffirmed the safety of genetically modified organisms. You know them as GMOs, and their importance in tackling Nigeria's food security challenges. The Director General, Professor Abdullahi Mustafa, said concerns about GMO foods are often driven by misinformation and fear, stressing that the agency is intensifying public engagement and evidence-based advocacy to build confidence. He said they are globally recognized as safe, having undergone decades of research and strict regulation. In Nigeria, no GMO product is approved for circulation without clearance from the National Biosafety Management Agency after thorough risk assessments. So we told you today is World Heart Day, but heart surgery are operational medical procedures to fix or improve the working of the human heart, correcting problems you're born with or health issues that may occur over time. But how does this happen? Well, our correspondent, Uche Ugochukwu, has more for us.
Interventional cardiology is described as the act of using minimally invasive procedures to treat heart diseases. From angioplasty to stenting, these procedures can help restore blood flow to the heart and prevent heart attacks.
And what we used to do, well, we used to go through the groin and find blockages in the blood vessels that supply the heart muscle and unblock those vessels so as to improve the blood supply to the muscle so that its function would be good, and that would reduce the chances of somebody dying or suffering from long-term heart failure.
We're starting to see the facilities here are capable of offering that care.
The main challenges we have is people not recognizing their symptoms on time. So most people that have a heart attack, which is blood vessel blocked, suddenly they have severe chest pain, they end up treating ulcer, they end up going to patent medicine stores, while they're having a heart attack until it's very late.
Coronary heart disease is actually on the rise, but people are just not aware of it.
There is obviously a gap in Nigeria between what we have here and what we want all over the world. And that's the gap we're closing.
The day also calls for the appreciation of these medical professionals whose dedication and innovation are giving patients a second chance in life. No doubt, heart disease is still a major public health issue, but experts say knowing the signs of a heart attack and getting prompt medical attention can make all the difference. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
So you know the heart is very delicate. So let's have that discussion. We have a guest, Dr. Oladipupo Fason. He's a consultant cardiologist and head of cardiology National Hospital here in Abuja, and also Secretary General Nigerian Hypertension Society. Thank you very much, Dr. Fason, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So it's a very delicate part of the body and something very serious. But a lot of people may be wondering, how can one maintain a healthy heart? Is it, by keeping good emotional patterns, or, wrong moves, or, in the foods we eat? What really is it?
Okay, thank you once again, and I truly appreciate this invitation to be here today. Today, especially being the World Heart Day, is a day that has been set aside to emphasize issues related to heart and the cardiovascular system generally. And these issues emanate from basic problems, a lot of which are lifestyle related. We know that a large number of heart problems are as a result of lifestyle choices. And these lifestyle choices are things we can actually work on. If you look at the world today, compared to, let's say, 50, 60 years ago, the world has generally moved away from what we call communicable diseases to non-communicable diseases. And Nigeria is not left out. In actual fact, we are said to be in the transiting phase where we are moving from the basic problems, which we are still dealing with really, things like malaria, pneumonia, TB, HIV and stuff. And now we are moving into the realm of the non-communicable diseases. And top on that list of non-communicable diseases are what we call the cardiovascular diseases. In actual fact, in the world today, the cardiovascular diseases account for 30% of all deaths that we see around the world. Now, what are these cardiovascular diseases? There are a number of them: hypertension, diabetes, coronary artery disease, stroke. These are all cardiovascular diseases. But more importantly, I would love to narrow down to high blood pressure, because it's been shown that
it's more common.
Yes, hypertension is at the center of most cardiovascular diseases. So if you talk about heart attack, heart failure, amongst other factors, hypertension comes tops.
Okay.
If you talk about stroke, hypertension